Hello, please. Wolfie for the win again, here with another tank video. I actually wasn't planning on making another one of these, but this round was just too good to pass up. A lot of silly things happened, a lot of good plays happened. I think you'll like it. This is the score at the end of the round. So here's how it goes down. I spawn on the Chinese side of Lankang Dam and hop into my tank. Pro tip, to get into a tank, you can just hold down E instead of mashing it over and over and hopping in and out like an idiot. I immediately ask for orders from my squad leader and then move up to capture E. I keep a careful eye on the capture scoreboard so that I can know where the enemy is at. We're already more than halfway done capturing E before the enemy even starts capturing A, as indicated by the blinking gray icon, so this gives me a sense of the timing of the match. By the time I start capturing D, the enemy vehicles will only have just reached B, so I don't have to worry about being ambushed by an enemy tank or LAV going forward. I do a cool little power slide into D, and once I make sure I'm into capture range, I look to B to see where the enemy vehicles are. They finish capturing the point, and I suspect they're preparing to attack across the middle bridge. As I move north to intercept them, I spy an enemy infantry on my minimap. He quickly disappears though, and it looks like the rest of my team has him surrounded, so I turn my attention back to the vehicles. As I suspected, they're crossing the middle bridge. From this position though, I'm able to land some easy hits on them as they pass, softening them up for my teammates to deal with. Now, I want to follow up on the damage that I've done, but I only see one tank and one LAV, which doesn't make much sense. At this point, they really should have two tanks and two LAVs at least. And so now I'm worried that these vehicles that I don't see are about to cross the lower bridge and get a flank on me. I back up to check. No enemy armor, but I catch two buggies trying to cross. The first one makes it past my gauntlet of bullets, and the driver makes it behind cover. I see that pretty much my entire team is over there though, so I figure he won't last long, and I turn my attention back to the second buggy. This guy, instead of smartly swerving to the side like the first guy, drives straight towards me, and gets blown up. Now that I cleared the lower bridge, I look back to the middle bridge, and I see that my team has actually repelled the armor push. Not only that, but if you look real closely at the LAV, it's got a red light on, and this means that it's actually recently used its active protection, which makes me think that it must have taken some damage, even if I don't see smoke or fire. I decide to test my hypothesis by shooting at the LAV, and I end up disabling it after 2 hits. Instead of finishing it off like I should have, I get distracted by the enemy infantry running up the road to the bridge. Without any cover, they're easily taken down with a coaxial HMG, which is especially awesome for sniping soft targets at long range. At this point, I also notice that the enemy has captured C, which gives them majority capture points. I turn to see if there's anything I can do to help, and I spot what should be an easy kill on an attack boat. I start focusing my fire on the boat, and this was actually a really stupid thing to do. Can you see why? Check the minimap. There's an enemy literally 10 feet in front of my tank that I'm ignoring. He even kills my teammate nearby. Luckily for me though, he must be an assault, because if he were any other class, I would have been blown sky high by slams or C4. As it stands, we just end up leaving each other alone while I do a terrible job of trying to kill this boat. Look, you can even see him crawling on the road trying not to draw my attention. This is why you don't play Assault on Conquest, guys. Because there's literally nothing you can do against enemy armor besides hump the floor and pray that it doesn't notice you. After wasting a stupid amount of time destroying the boat and hunting down a swimming infantry, I put a few shots on the enemy attack chopper and then look towards B to see if there's any enemies coming my way. I want to attack B, but that's not really a good idea right now. I'd need my entire team behind me if I wanted to push that point, because there's so many buildings there for enemy infantry to hide inside. I mean, look at that. There's so many guys in that building right there. Luckily for me, I brought my trusty HMG and pretty much proceed to sweep the building clean. If you want to maintain sustained accurate fire with the HMG, don't hold down the fire button, because inaccuracy increases dramatically after the first 4 shots on full auto. Instead, repeatedly tap it with a steady rhythm. This allows the random inaccuracy factor to decay back towards 0 in between shots, at a very minimal cost to your overall rate of fire. What's great about this spot that I'm in right now is that it has very clear lines of sight in all directions, including to points D, C, and B. From here, I can snipe to my heart's content without any worry about being snuck up on. I can see any major offensive coming from at least 100 yards away, and if things start to go south, it's a very easy retreat back to E. Feeling that I've done enough damage and seeing no other targets in the area, I turn back to see how we're doing at C. It's not great. There's nobody on my team on the island itself, and it looks like some people are actually crossing the Gulf in a rib boat to attack E. Now, chances are that these guys are going to get mowed down the moment they touch ground. But at the same time, I'd feel really dumb if I ignored them and they survived and they snuck up on me later. So, I back up and try to ensure that that doesn't happen. Just as I figured though, they get blown up pretty much right away. I noticed though that we're actually making a push onto C, which is exciting, so I help my teammates out by sniping at the only target I can see. Then I noticed, hey, wait a second. The enemy has actually managed to cap E. I should probably go over there and help with that. Sooner is better than later. The longer a point is in enemy control, the more enemies will spawn there and make it even harder to retake. As I move in, I look on the minimap for the enemy that capped the point. His icon is in the building over here, but I'm not sure which floor. So I decide to check the bottom floor first, and whoop, there he is. I missed my AP shell, but I see that he ran back to the right. So he's probably trying to seek cover in the room over. Little does he know that there's a huge gaping hole there where he expects his cover to be. I back up to keep him in my sights, and I drop him before he can properly aim his RPG. I glance at the minimap again to see if there's anyone else, and sure enough, there's another guy hiding inside. I pull up to where he should be, but I don't see him on either floor. Maybe he ran into this room over here? I blow out the wall and shoot into it, but he's already gone. I rechecked my map, and I see that he's actually managed to run outside and behind the building. Now in any other game, this would mean that he's gotten away. But this is Battlefield 4, damn it, and I'm about to do some home remodeling. See how he's still close to the far wall of the building, even though he's outside? It's basic instinct. Once you get behind cover, you generally want to hug it as close as possible. But that's also generally not a good idea when your opponent can turn that cover into 1,000 pieces of flying brick at the click of a button. The first shell blows out the wall, but leaves him standing. He's probably confused as hell by this point, and he unthinkingly runs for cover behind the next wall. No points for guessing what I do next. E should be clear now, and if it isn't, my teammates should have it clear pretty soon. I drive in reverse back to D, because it's faster than turning around and driving forwards, and because there's little risk of me being shot in the back as I do so, seeing as how we control D and it's not being contested by the enemy. Once I get there, I scope out B again. I see at least 2 tanks and an LAV, and so a frontal assault is out of the question. I hang back and see if I can do some damage before closing in, and luckily for me, another LAV rounds the corner and starts driving towards me, oblivious to my presence. My reaction shot grazes his scrotum, but doesn't actually hit for any damage. I manage to land my second shot, and though I'd love to claim that I predicted that he would turn to his left and thus aimed slightly to the right before firing, the truth of the matter is that I spazzed, and I got lucky. So lucky, in fact, that I cripple his mobility, leaving him wide open to catch my next 2 shells. I know that 3 shots to the side kills any LAV from full, so even before the last one hits, I look away and scan for new targets. Because cool kids don't look at explosions. I see a raging battle going on near the middle bridge, and the enemy infantry start pouring out into the open. And I get so focused on trying to gobble up all these kills that I miss something very, very important. It's an enemy jeep driving straight at me. Nobody's dumb enough to do that. Unless they have C4 strapped to their vehicle and... Oh, no, 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 oh, please, please, please. No, 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 he's going to suicide jeep me. He's going to suicide jeep me. Oh, God, please. No, no, no. Ah. Oh, he drove right past me. For those of you who don't know, suicide jeeping, or C4 jeeping, is when the enemy puts C4 on a fast-moving vehicle, like a jeep or a buggy, and drives it into your tank or LAV, jumping out at the last moment to detonate the C4 and blowing you, your tank, the jeep, and anything within a 20-foot radius to Kingdom Come. Many people consider it a cheap tactic, and it's hard for me to disagree. It's instantly lethal, easy to execute, and the target only has a split second to react. For this reason, you should have a very high index of suspicion whenever you spot a jeep or buggy on your screen or minimap. Every single one is a potential threat, and if one starts to drive towards your general direction, you must make it your top priority to kill it before it gets to you. Luckily, the tactic has one massive weakness. A single tank shell hit will detonate the C4 while it's still strapped to the jeep, and man if it isn't satisfying to see your potential killer hoisted by his own petard. Quite literally, in fact. A petard was actually a small bomb used to breach fortifications in 16th century warfare. Sometimes the bomb would go off prematurely, perhaps ignited by the enemy's bullet, and the explosion would blow away the petardier, who was then said to have been hoisted by his own petard. Isn't that a cool fact? Anyways, back to the game. Why did that jeep drive past me? The only thing in that direction is... the capture point E, which to the best of my knowledge is undefended. They must be trying to sneak by and capture it. If I let them do that though, then the enemy will have a spawn point behind me, which is not good, so I decided to follow them and stop the cap. Same as before, as I approach, I check the minimap for cues to where the enemy might be. There's no spotted enemy icon this time, but I notice that the icon for an empty jeep suddenly pops into view and slides across the road. Now, empty vehicles don't just move by themselves, so this must mean that the spot where the icon first appeared must be where the enemy bailed out and proceeded on foot. Armed with that knowledge, I know where to look as soon as I get there, and I manage to stop the guy just before he makes it inside the building. I hang around just a little bit longer, just to make sure I didn't miss anyone else, and then I move on. I pull up my big map to see how the game is going. We still only have 2 out of 5 points, which means we're continuously bleeding tickets, but members of my team are putting pressure on A, B, and C, so we should be able to take a majority soon. However, D looks to be under siege by enemy armor, and if we lose that, we're going to be back down to holding 2 capture points. That is where I'm needed, so that is where I will go. Now, there's a variety of ways I can approach this. I could go left towards the middle of the map, and then I would circle around and get a flank on this LAV, while simultaneously cutting off his retreat. That would guarantee me a kill, but it would also open me up to being flanked myself by an enemy coming from B. My tank can beat anything one-on-one, but once I start engaging multiple targets at the same time, my survivability plummets. I think it'd be best if I stayed to the right, with the rest of my team. As I prepare for the encounter, let me track the enemy LAV on my minimap, and... oh, its driver bailed. Probably means that he's about to die. Yep. The backbone of the attack is broken, but there's still some enemy infantry around, so let's clean up what we can. Looks like they actually managed to neutralize D, but we've got enough people to take it back in short order. Meanwhile, let's go back to my favorite central spot and see where to go from there. Alright, looks like B is... Hold on, wait a second. The capture progress for D is going down? Either all my teammates got bored and stopped capping the point, which is not out of the realm of possibility, or the enemy's taking it back. I should go lock it down, just in case. We need this point ASAP if we want to make up our ticket deficit. Looks like enemies are still in that building, but my teammates seem to have it under control, and there's nothing I can do about it. Meanwhile, let's make sure nothing's pushing the lower bridge again. Okay, no big threats, just another jeep. Alright, well, our next move isn't obviously clear, so let's try to get a sense of the general flow of the game and see what our options are. Not a lot of action going on at B, just this one guy that I can't seem to hit. And no big pushes going through the middle bridge either. Just another guy I can't land a shot on. Big fight over C though, but besides missing all my shots at the enemies there, there's not much I can do. Well, squad leader wants us to hit B, but there's no support. Alright, well, let's push up and see what happens. LAV there might give us a fight. Check the map. Wait, hold on. Boat! Boats are decently high priority targets, because if left alone they can completely lock down any coastline, and sea is pretty much all coastline. Luckily, boats are easy targets for tanks, because they're big and slow, and there isn't much cover out in the open waters. Alright, let's get this sucker. Okay, I missed my first shot, that's fine, I can hit the next one. No, alright. Third one, come on. God damn it! This is... Alright, well this isn't good. I'm getting shot at and I haven't even landed any damage on this boat. Let's back out. Alright, there's a hit. I'm satisfied. Let's scram. I get hit by something even though my active protection is up, which makes me a little bit annoyed. But luckily my gunner pipes up and says,
I can repair the tank, man.
So I duck behind this hill and we both get out to do just that. I figure the two of us repairing isn't necessary, especially because that leaves nobody to watch out for threats. I hop back in, and just in time. The tank that was shelling us is just around the corner, and we're about to have our first real tank-on-tank battle.
Round 1. Fight!
Now, situation isn't great. I'm at low health, and I just used up my active protection. It won't be up again for another 16 seconds, which might as well be a lifetime. He's probably full HP and has his countermeasures up. I only really have two things going for me. My buddy repairing me in the back, God bless you buddy, and the fact that the enemy is fighting in my territory. We trade first hits, and then I see his tank glow green. Damn it, he's popped his active protection, and so there's nothing I can really do except wait for it to go away. He lands another shot in the meantime, but my brave squadmate is doing a good job keeping my armor up. I haven't moved much during this fight because I don't want to mess up his repairing. Once the enemy's AP runs out, I hit him again, and now I have to back up because I absolutely cannot allow him to drive past me and have a shot at my rear armor. He starts backing off, and I see it's because my squadmate, oh god, you brave hero you, has decided that he'll do better putting a rocket on the enemy than his repair tool on me, which is a smart decision. It distracts the enemy tank long enough that I can get in a second shot for free, at the cost of my squadmate's life. My opponent lands yet another shot, and his gunner jumps out. Now, I know this guy is going to fire a rocket at me, so now I have a tough choice to make. I'm at 8 armor. Next shot from anything will kill me, and if not, my tank will explode in a couple of seconds anyways. Do I try to finish off the tank? Do I shoot this engineer and stop him from blowing me up with his RPG? Or do I bail and try to escape? Welp, I know I can definitely take out that tank before it'll get another shot off. Call me Han Solo, because in that last exchange, I shot first, and so if I fire again as soon as my reload is done, I should be able to take him out. Unless he's running automated reloader. Actually, doesn't matter, because I'm out of ammo. Okay, well, that's fine, because this engineer is more of a threat, and I should take him down first. He can fire off his RPG in the next half second, while the enemy tank still has to finish his reload, which should be about another whole second. As for running away, well, screw that. With your shield, or on it, Spartan. 5 points for anyone who gets that reference. Alright, well, it looks like this is it. I put a couple of shots on the engineer, and it doesn't look like he's going to fire an RPG at me, but by now the enemy tank should be reloaded and ready to finish me off. If I hop out now, I might be able to avoid the explosion and maybe get a rocket off as well. But there's no way my tank is going to survive, short of some divine intervention. Ha ha! And divine intervention it is, in the form of a JDAM bomb dropped from the heavens. I waste absolutely no time pulling out my repair tool and bringing my tank back from the brink. In the meanwhile, E has been captured, so that's the next target. I keep one eye on the minimap as I approach, but once I spot a target, I put all my attention on what's in front of me, only glancing back at the minimap in between kills. I take out all visible targets, but I'm unable to start capturing the point. This must mean that there are at least 2 more enemies on E, since there are 2 of us in the tank. They must be hiding, and I back out just in time to avoid an ambush. I blow out the walls of the building to try and expose my attackers, but when another RPG hits me, I decide to back out before I get swarmed. The guys I killed a few seconds ago will be respawning soon, and they might be out for revenge. Alright, well, now what? E's probably going to get very hot, very soon. And when a point is heavily contested, I think it's usually best to switch from an assault to an artillery role, sitting further away and thinning the ranks to make it safe enough to move in. A friendly LAV just spawned, too, so I'll wait for him before we push in together. Let's see if we can find a nice perch, somewhere that gives me overwatch over the entire point. This hill should work nicely. Consulting the minimap though, I see that enemies are still mostly in that building there, which I can't see very well from this point, so I move down to get a better angle. I blow out more walls to reduce the enemy's cover. I then spot 2 enemies on the minimap about to peek the corner to my left, so I turn to mow one down with the HMG and catch the other with the splash from a well-placed shell. An incoming missile warning makes me trigger my active protection, but nothing hits. I turn to face the direction of the lock, just in time to watch the enemy's javelin hilariously hit the ceiling right above him, acting as a shining beacon alerting me to his location. There are a bit too many rockets flying at my face for comfort, so I back out again. Once I'm safely out of range, I get out to squeeze in some quick repairs. Seems like the enemy is spawning in that building a lot faster than I can kill them, so we're going to need a different approach. Now I don't want to go back in from that direction again, since they're probably expecting me, so hold on, I know. Let's level the building. There. Problem solved. Ah, damn it. More engineers. This one's in them there hills, so I pull right up to him and watch his icon on the minimap. Most engineers are inherently greedy. If they're in cover, they'll try to quickly pop out to fire an RPG before ducking back down. I like taking advantage of this tendency by parking my tank right next to them as bait. When they pop up, I turn on active protection and gun them down and laugh as their dying rocket explodes harmlessly in midair. I set up to do just that, when suddenly I hear... What the? That came from my left! It's not this guy, no, I can see his rocket right now. But I just drove past that area, and I didn't see anyone on my minimap. What could possibly... Oh. A parachuter. Brave, but ultimately, stupid. He was probably trying to immobilize me with an RPG to my rear armor, and he missed. That's unfortunate, because now he's staring down the barrel of my tank with nowhere to run. He'll get no sympathy from me. I return to the original target, who hasn't moved from his original spot, and take him out too. Looks like my team is over on E, but I move in just to make sure, totally failing to notice my squad mate chasing after me with a repair tool. Sorry about that. Okay, well, we have C, so that's good. Hold on. Enemy on the minimap. Where is he? Oh, another parachuter. There must be a spawn beacon nearby or something. Alright, let's head to D and... Ooh, wait, another one. All the way up there on the hill, huh? Well, he's easily dispatched, but I should look for his teammate. Yep, because infantry are like cockroaches. There's never just one. Let's check up on the general flow of the battle. We're holding 3 points, so that's good. Heavy fighting going on at sea, though. But we have a boat and an LAV there, so I'm not too worried. My next step looks to be stopping this LAV here from pushing into D, and then maybe defending against a push from the tanks at B. I watch the LAV's icon on my HUD and shoot it as soon as it comes into view. I notice this guy's popped out, obviously having little faith in his driver's abilities, and so I quickly dispatch him with my HMG as my main gun is reloading. Once it finishes, I swap back to hit the LAV again. Simple. As expected, the 2 tanks from B are making a push, and I'm in the perfect position. I can snipe at them if they try to cross the middle bridge, and I can duck behind this building if they start returning fire. The first tank decides not to cross here, and instead turns to head towards the upper bridge. The second tank, however, decides to keep sniping. I can't see much of him directly, but I can trace the trajectory of his shell back towards where he should be, which is right here. My first shot is a little bit low, but I know he's there because his active protection is soaking up LAV shots and making a big fireworks show. I adjust a little bit higher, wait for his AP to run out, and... bingo! Clean hit. Looking to the north, the first tank is coming across the upper bridge now, so I drive up to engage him while he's still stuck on the narrow portion of the bridge with no room to maneuver. As I fight him, I watch his turret very closely, ready to activate my AP as soon as it points in my direction. It never does though, so I end up not wasting my countermeasures. I turn back to check up on D when I see a rocket coming from that building's window. Pure muscle memory lets me fire off a snapshot that takes a chip off that guy's shoulder, along with his entire shoulder. Enemy is capping D, so let's go help with that. Wait. We're taking it back. They don't need me. E, on the other hand, though, seems to be under attack, judging from the flashing icon on the scoreboard. A quick glance at the minimap reveals that E is infected with an unhealthy amount of infantry, far too dangerous to deal with directly. Let's take a page out of the playbook of the guys that we killed earlier, and camp on this hill over here as we try and thin the ranks. Cowardly? Maybe. But doing this gives me a great vantage point from which I can do things like, spot a chopper's rotors start to spin up and take it out with a carefully arced shot. My team starts to move in, and so do I. I decide to stay in my long-range support role though, so I take up Overwatch in the same hill as I did last time. Looking at this LAV and seeing how many rockets are being fired at it makes me feel pretty smart about my decision to hang back and engage the enemy from afar. Once the point is neutralized though, there's really no reason to stay cautious. I know no more reinforcements are coming, so I can move in and help clean up what remains. I spot this guy on the minimap, and judging from his location relative to my teammates, I predict that he's going to try and escape towards the shoreline. I move in that direction to intercept him, but he gets shot just before my tank shell reaches him. E's all taken care of, but I took too long recapturing it, and now the enemy has neutralized D, and will probably own it soon. Now, the thing about points like D is that once an enemy infantry force gains a foothold inside the buildings or on the roof, they become near impossible to secure as a tank. If I tried to roll in right now and sit on the flag, I'd be dead within a minute from engineers hiding in the buildings and firing RPGs down at me. Not only is it hard to hit targets inside because you're on lower ground, all it takes is one spawn beacon or missed infantry, and an almost cleared out building is swarming with enemies once again. As you can see, even just circling around the point, I already have engineers targeting me. It's incredibly hard to fight them, because even as you're laying down suppressing fire on one of them, another one will just pop out to take a shot. It's too hot to go in there for a direct assault. I need friendly infantry to clear out the buildings for me before I can go in. I can't really attack anywhere else either. We already own E, and if I drive past D to go to B, I'll just end up getting shot in the back. I might as well just sit here and try to pick off enemies inside as I wait for my team to push up. This hill here is actually a really nice spot for assaulting D. Enemy infantry love to camp in that building there, and being up here lets you see clean through to the other side. People never really expect a tank to be able to shoot into the second floor of a building, so you usually end up picking off one or two guys before everyone evacuates. I keep watching a bit longer in case the team sweeping the building needs fire support. Then I move up towards the north end of the map. This region right here with the shipping crates, it contains a major cluster of spawn points for D. Since my team is pushing up into the buildings now, and since the game tries very hard not to spawn you near your enemies, I anticipate that most new defenders will be reinforcing from this direction. By parking my tank here and watching like a hawk, I should be able to intercept them as they come in, cutting off the reinforcements to the enemies currently on the point. I noticed the icon for an enemy jeep on my HUD, driving towards the north end of the map. I figured that he must be trying to cross the upper bridge to come to D, so I move up to intercept, knowing that once he's on the bridge proper, he won't have much room to dodge my shots. A jet flying overhead gets some shots on me, and I get distracted for long enough that I let an enemy recon blow up my LAV buddy. Sorry man, I let you down. On the plus side though, we've now started capturing D. But then I noticed that the icon for E has started blinking. Hopefully this time I'll be able to stop the cap at E quickly. Oh, never mind, we got it. As I turn back to D, I see an enemy chopper land on the roof. Damn it! Once they get a squad member or a spawn beacon on that roof, they can continuously spawn and try to cap D, and there's nothing me or anyone else on the ground can do about it. In these sorts of situations, what you want to do is switch your MO from eradication to containment. Instead of going in, set up a Hotel California scenario, where your enemies can check out any time they like, but they can never leave. Establish a perimeter, like I do here, and focus on just one thing. Terrify the enemy, so that they never leave their little hidey hole. Kills are a bonus, but they're not your main objective here. Shoot at anyone who peeks their head out, fire off tank shells constantly, anything to project a menacing presence. What you're trying to do here is to make the enemy think, oh, the big bad tank driver is coming to D, everybody go there and defend it. And then once a whole bunch of enemies spawn there, pin them down inside the building, while your own team goes around capturing the other now under-defended enemy points. It's a very effective strategy that many people don't think to do, but my favorite part is that you end up being a huge asset to your team just by doing what's fun, racking up kills and generally being a menace. As I set up shop on my trusty old hill, the enemy LAV pokes its head out. As I shoot, I watch closely for a tow missile, and once I see it, I turn on active protection to negate it. As the LAV secondary gunner starts to lock onto me using his SOFLAM, I back out. I can't risk staying on this exposed hill because a tow missile onto a locked-on target does extra damage, immobilizes you, and is almost guaranteed to hit. I get hit with a regular tow, which is just fine, and I keep evading in between shots at the LAV just to minimize the damage that I take, even taking advantage of a fallen tree as concealment for my next volley. Sensing that the enemy LAV is weak, I try to push up, only to get shot at by multiple enemy engineers. I'm forced to turn on my active protection again, and after squeezing in one more shot, I back straight up out of there. Now I want to get out and repair, but I'm afraid that if I do, the engineers will have a free shot at my weakened tank. So instead, I watch ahead of me, ready to evade at the first sign of incoming rockets. When I don't see any, I inch up bit by bit, just to see if the engineers are gone, and once I'm sure that they are, I get out to repair. My squad mate bro catches up to me and starts fixing me up though, so I hop back in to keep an eye out for threats. I check the scoreboard, and it's looking grim. My Hotel California strategy hasn't been working out as planned, seeing as how the enemy holds 3 points and is working on capturing a 4th. Also, I just noticed while editing this video, but watch the minimap as my teammate's Jeep zooms down this road that I'm in the middle of. He tries to drive around me, but since I'm turning my tank around, I end up redirecting him into the rock. Whoops. Anyways, we need to capture points fast, or else we're going to lose this match. And if we lose this match, then it's not a good round, and I can't use it in a Mindgamer episode. I want to hit D, but the enemy is still hanging out in the buildings and on the rooftops. I'll do what I can, but it's not much. If I stay still for even a second around here, RPGs will hit my tank from above. Interestingly enough though, it looks like we're actually taking D back. Now that I think about it, if the enemy's on the rooftops, then they can't be on the point to stop us from capturing it. Huh. Well, if I can't do anything else here, maybe I can add some supporting fire to our impending capture of C? No. Well, not much I can do here either. Well, somehow we managed to get both D and B, so now I can finally cross the lower bridge and go to B to defend it. Hold on, just gotta make sure D is clear. Okay, let's... Oh, what now? Enemy jet with heat seekers? I gotta waste my AP to negate it. Whatever. Maybe I can snipe it out of the air as it flies over? Nope. Okay, back to B. Let's see if we can snipe out that LAV before we move in. Ow, what the... What hit me? Close to 50 damage, mobility hit, no warning or rocket sound. Ah, must have been one of those UCAVs. Huh, Luckily, their reload time is so long now that my squad bro should have me back to full before I get hit by another one. The enemy pilots must be jealous of my 40+ killing spree or something, because another jet locks its heat seekers on me. Luckily, my AP is back up, so it should... What the hell? Ah. Sometimes active protection just doesn't work, even if you activate it well ahead of time. I suspect this is due to some bug causing it to not stop explosives that hit you from above. This would also explain why it doesn't block the MBT law, which curves sharply upwards and then straight downwards just before it hits you. Oh well, Repair Buddy is ready again with the repair tool. I should be able to survive... What? How did that rocket kill me? I was at 50 armor and it most definitely did not hit me in the back. And why does the scoreboard say that I got killed by a dude in the helicopter all the way on the other side of the map? I don't even... Let's rewind and see that again. Wait, hold on. Is that an enemy jeep? I see what happened. That makes me mad. You see, it wasn't that rocket from the rooftop that killed me. It was a suicide jeep. The enemy in the helicopter must have put slams on the vehicle, and then his teammate must have rammed it into me while I was looking away. See what I mean about only having a split second at best to react to suicide jeeps? It's hard, man. Disappointed as I am, 46 kills in a row was still a great run. Now let's focus on winning the game. My tank won't be respawning for another 30 seconds or so let's try and create as much havoc as we can in the meantime. Parachuting into A seems like a good idea, just to see if we can do some disruption before we get our tank back. Ooh, I get hit on the way down though, so that's not good. That means somebody sees me. Now the question is, will it be coming around this corner or this one? Let's watch this corner here and... Oh, I see him. Alright, good. He will be back though in about 7 seconds. So let's get to cover and find a nice safe place to hide. This place will do. Crashed out building. And we can watch the enemy from here and get some pot shots off. I'm not afraid of shooting at them from here because I have a silencer on, so it won't reveal me. Now watch this guy on the minimap, and I should be able to shoot him when stupid rocks getting in my way. Damn it. Oh well, that's fine. Now our tank should be up. The guy who killed us just then says that he halved our KD. And I suppose, yeah, he's right, since he increased our deaths from 1 to 2. What a shame. Let's see how the game is going. We own 3 points and are up in tickets, but we lost D, and we might lose C and E. This isn't looking good. This close to the end, if the enemy grabs the majority now, we could very much lose the game. No time for slow, cautious play anymore. I have to get this tank to the front lines now. Okay, E is clear. Now our next target is D. The enemy now has the majority points, and our ticket lead is dwindling rapidly. It's gonna be close. No time for dilly-dallying. I'm going straight for the cap. Engineers and buildings be damned. Looks like other people on my team have the same idea, so we should be able to get this soon. Let's swap to third person to look for enemies. There's one. Got him. There's another inside. Got him. Uh-oh, tank. Gotta hit him, turn on AP. block his shot. His AP is on, so I should wait before firing. Okay, now he's backing up. I should pursue before he gets a chance to repair and come back to try and retake the point. I see he's starting to run north on the minimap, so I should have a clear shot here. And another one. There. Okay, one more, and oh crap, suicide jeep. Okay, my gunner took it out before it could blow up on me. Now if I just time this right, I should be able to kill it. Whew. Okay, we own 3 points now. All we need to do is hold them for 1 more minute and we win. I'm in a good position now to cut off anyone trying to cross. I just need to stay alive. Someone's trying to mortar me. Too bad it does like 5 damage to tanks. Uh-oh, I'm getting hit by a scout chopper. Come on, fly low. You know you want to. Get destroyed by a tank shell. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Haha. Icing on the cake. And with that, the game will end in 3, 2, 1, game. And that's it. One of my favorite tank rounds ever. I want to give a special shout out and thank you to my squad bro, JJord64. Thanks buddy, you made this possible. As always, I hope you all learned something new from watching this, or, failing that, I hope I've kept you entertained for these past 50 minutes. Thanks for sticking around. Leave a comment, subscribe if you like this sort of thing, and keep an eye out for more Mindgamer videos in the future. Until next time, class dismissed.